Hey friends, welcome back. Today is all about the food on the Halifax Boardwalk, specifically the Salt Yard. We sampled a solid mix of vendors to see what's worth grabbing, and we may have a surprise waiting at the end on this one. Located right on the Halifax Waterfront, between Salter Street and Sackville Street, the Salt Yard is a 30,000 square foot open-air space that acts as a major social and cultural hub along the boardwalk. It's home to 16 local small businesses, mostly artisanal food kiosks, with tons of public seating and often live performances happening throughout the day. It's busy, it's community-focused, and it really feels like the heart of the waterfront food scene. Starting off with a big hit for us, MASITA K Food. Masita specializes in authentic Korean street food, serving up crispy chicken, smoky barbecue skewers, and quick snack-style bites. We immediately gravitated toward their skewer selection. Mike went with the pork and I chose the shrimp. And let me tell you, watching her torch that shrimp right in front of us and finish it off with some sweet and spicy drizzle was part of the experience. This might honestly be the best shrimp I've ever had. It was fresh, flaky, and perfectly cooked. Shrimp can sometimes be too thick and rubbery, but this was completely the opposite. This was tender, light, and packed with flavor. I loved how much it flaked apart. I loved it so much, I actually came back another day and ordered it again. Mike's pork skewer was almost like a tempura-coated sausage. It was juicy, flavorful, and perfectly crisp on the outside. He loved it so much he considered ordering another one immediately. Instead, we tried these veggie dumplings. Crisp on the outside, savory and warm on the inside. Overall, we totally understood why this place is so popular. You definitely have to stop and try it. If the prices were a little bit lower, we would have given it a solid 10 out of 10. But for now, we think we're going to give it a very fair and very earned 9 out of 10. Next up is Brawta Jamaican Jerk Hut. Brawta has a full-time downtown Halifax location, but today we're just going to visit their seasonal Salt Yard kiosk. They're known for authentic Jamaican patties with rotating flavors, including jerk season specialties like pork and oxtail. Mike started with the pork patties since they were out of beef, but this was a win for him. The pastry was flaky with the perfect crunch, and the pork was juicy, flavorful, and spicy without it being too overpowering. It had that Caribbean kick that you're looking for.
I love this area.
I ordered the jerk tofu with rice and a side of Scotch bonnet sauce. I really liked this, but the portion of sauce was tiny, and the tofu definitely needs that extra boost to soak up flavor. Once I added the sauce, it completely elevated the dish. So my suggestion is just, a little bit bigger to-go containers for the sauce because it's very nice. The tofu is a little bit on the softer side and it still has a lot of the jerk seasoning wrapped around it. But yeah, that sauce really does amplify it a lot. I just wish there was a bit more of it. We also tried the jerk chicken mac and cheese. This one wasn't as strong for us. The chicken was a bit on the dry side, though that might have been its intention since it had the smokiness and heavy jerk flavor. The mac and cheese itself was fairly plain and pretty dry, but the smoky, slightly sweet sauce tied together with it nicely. We really enjoyed everything that we got here at Brawta. The Jamaican patties definitely stand out more than anything, so if you're ever in the mood for authentic Jamaican patties, definitely give this spot a try. Next up is Salt and Soul. This is a Latin-inspired vendor serving a lot of Mexican-styled bites such as tacos, empanadas, and much more. Their hours were a bit different from the other vendors, but once we finally got there, the staff confidently recommended the empanadas, so of course we had to try them. Mike went with the braised beef empanada, filled with 16-hour braised beef and queso fresco. The inside was ooey gooey and well seasoned. The beef itself was really good. The downside? It was very greasy. Mike has had more traditional empanadas before, and this one felt heavier than expected. It's not bad, just more middle of the road for us. I tried the vegan black bean empanada. I'll be very honest with this one. This was a huge miss for me. The filling was so bland and quite watery, and the shell was very greasy. I had to rely heavily on the dipping sauce to bring some life to it. Considering the vegan option was only slightly cheaper than the meat version, it didn't feel like a great value. Even with getting the one that's above it that has a bit of cheese added to it, I don't feel like it was worth the price. It does feel a little unfair to judge an entire vendor all on one item, even though I will say I did hate my empanada. I will go that far and say I hated it. It was very gross. They have a lot of other dishes on their menu, and I'm sure that they shine really well. So since we just had the one item, we're going to give them a very middle-of-the-road rating. We're just trying to be fair because Mike's was good, mine was very bad, but their menu does look quite intriguing. Maybe another time we'll give them a shot and the rating will go higher. Next is Coastal Curry, serving Indian-inspired dishes like paneer tikka wraps and butter chicken and tons more. Mike ordered the butter chicken with rice. The sauce was thicker and more tomato forward than he's used to, with noticeable acidity, but still creamy and mildly spicy. The rice was unfortunately very overcooked, but the chicken itself was super tender and almost melted in your mouth. Definitely the highlight of the dish. I got the paneer tikka wrap. This one was packed with flavor and huge chunks of paneer, which I loved. The fresh veggies added a great texture, though they made one side very cool while the other was quite warm. It definitely still had heat, but I'm talking about spice. Almost surprising that it comes with extra spicy sauce on the side. It does get kind of messy, so I do recommend eating it quite quickly before it all falls apart. But overall, this was a strong choice and I'm happy I got it. Next up is Caffe Lucca, an Italian-inspired drink vendor. We originally planned to try two different iced tea flavors, a raspberry and a blueberry, but they were running low on stock. So we ended up with a blueberry iced tea and a raspberry Italian soda. They even gave me a coupon for a free drink, which I used later, and I very much appreciated that. The blueberry iced tea was ice heavy due to the low supply, so that also played in a factor for us getting a free drink later. But flavor-wise, it reminded us of an Arizona iced tea, just without all that extra sweetness. The raspberry Italian soda was more refreshing than anything, which is funny since it's a soda. It was light, bubbly, and subtle, similar to a sparkling water with a splash of fruit. For my free drink, I grabbed an iced oat milk latte with sugar-free vanilla. The aroma to this was lovely, and the sweetness was more subtle, which honestly seems like their vibe. Natural flavors that will speak for themselves that aren't being drowned out with syrup. Although I may have thought about it later, and an extra pump of the syrup would have been kind of nice. But I enjoyed this place, and I can see why it had a huge lineup. Up next is Tony's world famous pizza and Donair. Is it really world famous? Let's find out. Yes, Donair is a big deal in Halifax. The Halifax Donair features spiced, spit roasted beef, onions, tomatoes, and that iconic sweet garlic sauce. It was created in the 1970s by Peter Gamulakos and even became Halifax's official food in 2015. We did learn the hard way that you're supposed to keep it wrapped up and tear pieces off to eat it, not fully unwrap it like we did, so lesson learned, now we know. The smell alone was incredible. Warm spices and herbs, the meat was juicy and very tender, and the sweet sauce balanced it beautifully. Mike absolutely loved it and completely understands why it's such a Halifax staple. The tahini on it also was a really nice touch. I ordered the falafel pita as a sub. It came with falafel, veggies, pickled turnip, and tahini. I added Italian dressing after hearing it could be quite dry, which did help, but overall this was not my favorite. It was messy, it was dry, and the falafel texture wasn't great for me. Just not a hit on my end. There were hard pieces that I couldn't really chew through, so I had to keep spitting it out, and everything just kind of ended up tasting like vinegar. I am happy I added the Italian dressing though, because I feel like without it, it would have just felt very flat and all one note. And finally, our little surprise stop, Cow's Creamery. While not inside the salt yard, this Eastern Canadian icon has a location right on the boardwalk at the Cable Wharf. And since it started in Cavendish, PEI, in 1983, we just had to stop in since we were out east. You know, close enough, right? They're known for their rich 16% butterfat ice cream and fun cow-themed merch. We even grabbed a cow toy for our dog to take home with us. For our ice cream choices, I got the Canadian Maple, made with maple ice cream and maple swirl and cookie chunks. Mike chose Cookie Moonster. This was made with vanilla ice cream, with cookie dough and Oreo pieces. You can choose out of the 3 different options to upgrade your cone to. You can get a waffle cone dipped in chocolate, a waffle cone dipped with chocolate and sprinkles, or a waffle cone dipped with chocolate and peanuts. We both clearly chose the obvious one, which was chocolate and sprinkles. Delicious. Their ice cream here is just consistently rich and creamy and delicious. And another bonus is walking the Halifax boardwalk with an ice cream in hand is the perfect way to end a food-filled day. We're just happy that there's tons of places to stop and sit and take it all in. It was a great way to end the day. Alright friends, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed coming along with us for this food-filled adventure at the beautiful Halifax Boardwalk. We've got one more Nova Scotia video left to share with you, and trust us, you're not going to want to miss it.